Good day, everyone, and welcome to episode 78 of the Hunger for the Hustle podcast. My first guest, I'm pretty sure, let me just think about this. Let me just run through 78 other episodes in my mind, 77. Yeah, I'm sure of it, man. This is my first guest from Australia. My brother from another mother. My friend who I've met recently, who's a go-getter and a doer and works towards greatness every day. He's been keeping me accountable on the Thinking into Results program we've been doing, and we've been figuring out, mapping out greatness together, not just a daily, monthly basis, but by minute thing every day. George Acari, it's a pleasure to welcome you to the show, brother.
Absolute privilege and amazing intro, Jake. Thanks, bro. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. It's nice to actually do a podcast with someone that's in the same time zone as me and not have to try and count 16 hours into the past and then figure out where we're at and all this kind of crazy stuff. But this is the first one I've really...
You set yourself up good. We're doing the hard stuff first. You set yourself up good for a home run, so it's all right.
That's it. It's a good way to do. But this is the first podcast I've had where we've really talked about going into the subject of health and wellness. George is one of the most, and I've met a lot of personal trainers over the years. I was thinking the other day, I'm 32 now. I've been in the gym more than half my life. You wouldn't guess, but it is the truth. George is one of the most authentic personal trainers, though, genuinely I've ever met. Just no bullshit, just straight down the line, tells you how it is, and that is how it is, and that's how he trains his clients. He's been a trainer and a health coach for some time, just an authentic, positive approach. And today we're going to be uncovering some of those myths of health and wellness and discovering some of George's favourite topics. So, I mean, George, you want to give a bit of background about what you're doing and how long you've been doing it? I mean, I'm sure you know it far better than I do.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, congratulations on the 78 episodes, man. You're cranking them out as well, man. You're going Godspeed, so good on you. Congratulations. And I think as far as the personal training and the training aspect of my past years, training probably started officially as in proper training, regimented, programming-wise, and actually getting involved, getting to know the physiology and the food behind it and the recovery process and pretty much the whole element that is health and fitness, or health and fitness as they call it these days. But personal training I've been on since 2017. And then before that, started out at a CrossFit gym 2012 or early 2013. So I was in sort of that extremity, if you want to call it, when it was still in its infancy. Everyone was blowing it up and it was getting big and it was the new thing to do. And it was a bit full on, which suited my character. So I hit the ground running there for a couple of years. Probably about 2015, trained at a strength / bodybuilding sort of more aesthetic place, but really, really top end, high quality. It's called Clean Health. Probably one of the best places you could train in Sydney at the time. Learned a lot there. Very different to what I was doing before, which was heaps of volume, really cardiovascular based, 20 minutes, half an hour, non-stop moving, big moves. This was a lot more detailed, a lot more personal programming as well. And then the transition just went from there, from strength to strength, to the top trainer to top trainer. And then the trainer I had after Clean Health, I actually brought it up that I'm thinking about becoming a personal trainer. I love this, love helping people. I love people. What do you think? And he was like, just go. Don't even think about it. Just get into it right now. And I'm like, I don't think I know enough. And he's like, you'll learn. So I don't think I've been doing this enough. He's like, you're already good to go right now in comparison to a lot of people that are already in the industry. So don't overthink it. Get into it. Everything will come. Then I just done my course online. And I think 2016, I started doing it in 2017. I completed it online. Couldn't get a job for about 4 months anywhere, whether it was a group training, fitness first, anytime fitness sort of thing. And then November 2017, started at Fitness First in the Sydney CBD, which was like I'd probably say it was one of the top gyms in the city at the time. Obviously now with the way that the world is, the climate of the world, it's a bit quiet there. But when I got there, booming gym, very corporate, high intensity, high stress environment, a lot of corporate people, stressed all day, coming in for a workout, learn about efficiency, stress management, a little bit deeper about nutrition, recovery, and everything else. Before you know it, fast forward on the Hunger to the Hustle podcast, man. Here we are.
Here we are. Here we are. And then, you know, one thing I've learned about you, George, in the short time we've known each other is you're a high energy person. You know, there's always something going on, and that pairs really well, I suppose, with being a personal trainer, because you're lending that energy to other people, particularly at the end of people's work day when they're a little bit low on energy, they're a little bit run down. Like you said, they're working in an environment like the CBD, corporate environment where people are stressed. You know, that can affect your energy levels. So what better job for a person that's just 100 miles an hour all the time than to be a trainer?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, it's funny that you say that, because when I was getting into it full time, so the way that it worked at Fitness First, I became a level 1 trainer. So I was employed by Fitness First for a couple of months, and then I became sort of run my own business out of the Fitness First, and I was doing all the classes at the Fitness First. So the energy was like there were 20, 30 people in a class sometimes, and it was exactly what you're saying, just like full on. And a lot of people actually told me, mate, you're like in a constant state of stress. I'm like, no, I'm just really happy. I'm really pumped. And they're like, no. Like, you've got shit going on. I'm like, there's nothing going on. Like, they're like, man, you're cranking coffees. You're buzzing all day. You're off your head. You're just going off your nuts, mate. What's going on? I'm like, I'm just happy and I love this shit. Like, this is where it's at. It got a bit more draining the more you do it. Just like you said, if you've got a whole day full of people who actually need coaching, you got to give them detail. You got to educate them at the same time. You got to make sure everyone's logging. What are you eating? How you feeling? How did your sleep go? Because I give people like a Google Sheets sort of thing to have to fill out. And we pretty much monitor all pretty much the basic stuff: energy levels, sleep, food, see what time we're sleeping. People got smartwatches now, how your sleep was, or what the app says, a third-party app says your sleep was, and stuff like that. So a little bit everywhere, a little bit in recovery, a little bit in performance, a little bit in sleep, a little bit in nutrition. Next thing you know, someone's 10, 15, 20% better. And then even with the draining part of it, it's probably the most rewarding thing. Because A, I like people. B, with the energy and that stress level, pushing people to find out more of what they can do is probably one of the best things I've experienced, especially when people are in pain or don't know better and want better. And they've got A, B, C to follow program, cookie cutter program, or someone who's popular online, or they just come in, go to a cycle class to get the heart rate up, which a lot of the times counterproductive. We'll get into that as we go, but the energy.
It is. It's an interesting job, isn't it? It's almost an exchange of energy, and just so rewarding when you see people get results. Because when you look good and you feel good, then it's perpetual. You start feeling better, and you start realizing that if I take care of myself like this, I'll make myself feel better. And you start realizing that you're getting better results because you're getting better results with your physical self, and then that plays out into your relationships and your career. There's just no downside to it unless you overdo it, or unless you bring things into it to try and help you, that you shouldn't, like, the Mexican supplements and stuff like that, which is just a no-no. I was not something I've ever done. But, some people reach to those extra kind of supplements to get their gains, and, it might do something in the short term, but long term it's going to have negative effects on your health for sure, I think.
The supplement side of things, like you just said, the supplement side, there's probably like the last thing on the pyramid. That's probably the last thing you should focus on. If you haven't done, I don't want to say if you haven't done everything you can do, but if you haven't put some effort into your foundation of like recovery, sleep, stress management through like as natural as possible, things that you can control and things that you can do pretty much just logical tools, things that you can do anytime, just to try to de-stress, relax, get a better sleep and get a better understanding. You're just reaching for supplements all the time. It's like having a broken leg and trying to put a band-aid on all the time. It's only going to get worse if you're walking on the leg, you know what I mean? It's never going to be good.
Yeah,
for sure.
A lot of them you just don't need. I mean, I'll tell you, I bought a pre-workout, a new one I had the other day, which is a good one. It's a proper, a cleanish one, banned substance tested. I don't drink coffee, but this stuff, didn't read it properly. It's got 2.5 cups of coffee's worth of caffeine in it, and it was too much for me, man. Couldn't sleep that night, and then it rolled on into the next day. It was a hot night anyway, which meant I couldn't sleep well. And then the next session I had, I was like, I don't even need that stuff. Like, if I need a bit of energy, I'll get a cup of green tea. That's got a bit of a boost in it for me, and that's enough. That with a good, strong mindset to just get through the session. like sometimes it can be more than a curse than a blessing, I think.
Yeah, the pre-workouts are a bit hard because a lot of people associate that like feeling they get, the tingles or the excessive sweating, with heaps more fat burning or heaps more muscle building, or I'm getting heaps more work done, etc., etc. When really physiologically on your body, if you're young, you can probably get away with it. Like you said, you're 32, I'm 36. The last time I had a scoop of pre-workout was probably December, a week or two before Christmas. Before that, I haven't had it for, I can't even tell you how long. I was I wanted to scratch my face off. I thought I was on. I was on. There's a reason I'm not having this shit. There's a reason I stay away from this. And even after, like you're saying, I had a cold shower to try and like further. I depleted myself at the gym, and I had a cold shower to sort of like bring myself back. And I was just like, I'm not on edge, but I don't feel good. Like I want to leave the gym. I want to feel energized. I want to feel good. I almost want to feel what I tell a lot of people is, instead of just coming in to smash yourself at the gym, at the park, in your class, whatever you're doing, rather than being like aggressively depleted, you want to be calmly depleted. You want to leave and you be like, I was in control. I've done what I had to do based on what my body wanted. So I can feel good. I can move better. I can get a better night's sleep. And the more reward you get in the gym, the more you're going to transition into making a better decision when it's time to eat and when it's time to do that again. Because if you go there and you're like, I'm not getting results, I feel like shit. I've done X lift and deadlift and squats. I say that a lot. People are doing them in a poorly executed manner. And you think to yourself, you're not looking forward to coming back. Now it's becoming more of like an obligation. I need to go to the gym because I know it's the right thing to do, but you're not feeling good about it. Whereas if you fix a couple of things, are you going to lift as heavy? Are you going to feel as mental if you're not scratching your face off? You know what? It's not about that. If you're going to feel good, everything else will come with it. If you're training strictly to look a certain way, there's no guarantee that you're going to feel good. But if you're training to feel good, get your body moving the way that it wants to move, feed yourself and nourish yourself accordingly, then everything that you want to look like is going to come through because you're eating well, you're moving well, you're training well. And it's going to build your self-respect up at the same time. So
and you're confident.
It's a double-edged sword sometimes, because sometimes you do want to go in and someone's just like, I want to smash myself because I'm stressed. I just want to let it all out. When really you're like, stress is really, it's tension. You know what I mean? You don't want to come in and further tension your body and get into something that's not good for your hip, your lower back, pushing weight over your head, when on a good day, it's not even a good idea, sort of thing. But you want to leave calm, relaxed. I've done some work. Look at all the areas that you can improve on. Slowly, small steps. I'm reading a book at the moment. It's called Tiny Habits. I got it for a Christmas present. Mate, if you can do tiny things everywhere, it just all adds up. You know better than anyone now with the routines that we're doing and stuff, thinking into results and stuff. So a little bit here, a little bit there. You can't touch it.
Yeah. All adds up. If you try and do too much at once, then you just get overwhelmed and you stop doing it all. So, but we've got some particular subjects we were going to get into here, George, and I'll put them out, and I know a lot of people are looking forward to hearing about them. So let's get into the first one, which is carbs are your friend. Tell us more about that subject. A lot of people demonize carbs. They think too many of them are a bad idea, which is probably true, but I'll leave it there, man. You know more than me.
Yeah, so we'll get into nutrition as a whole. Carbs are your friends. I mean, probably over 150 to 200 clients that I've worked with, even in lockdown, out of lockdown, in the gym. When we say carbs, split two things up. I mean, proper food carbs, so rice, couscous, breads, stuff like that are good for you, rather than a lot of things that personal trainers say in regards to calories in and calories out, which is pretty much the be all and the end all of whether you're going to gain weight, lose weight, or maintain around where you're at. And a lot of people are like, the calories are the only thing that matter. So if you want to have a dairy milk chocolate as your carbs, cut the rice out at lunch, etc., sort of make up for it that way. I'm not going to demonize chocolates and everything else, but the good carbs are probably one of the most beneficial things for you. Everyone loves them to start with, and your body pretty much is built through evolution to have carbohydrates in them. So it's pretty much a staple. And as a whole, back to that calories thing, if you're trying to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. So you need to consume less calories than you burn in a day. If you're trying to gain weight, gain some muscle, you're doing whatever your goal is, whatever it may be, you need to eat in a calorie surplus to put weight on. So a lot of people want to build muscle. They're killing their legs and their backs and whatnot. You know, you want to be eating in excess, A, to feed that and to grow, or your maintenance calories, which are pretty much, you're not going to gain weight, you're not going to lose weight, you can enjoy yourself, not feel bad about it if you're educated enough to know exactly what you're consuming, sort of thing. And with that, there's pretty much no one diet fits all, one sort of food group is better for somebody else, which you might hear like keto diet, I'm a vegan to lose weight, vegetarian, pescatarian, carnivore, mix and match, lemon detox diets that are out there, and everyone's doing anything and everything to sort of lose weight and cleanse and detox, which is like the big thing these days. With your nutrition, if you're eating a sufficient amount of protein, this is talking from experience and science back, but people will argue the science thing. I'm going to go with what I know because it's worked for me and it's worked for a lot of people I've worked with. If you prioritize protein, which is going to keep you feeling fuller for longer, feed your muscles, make that your primary micro to hit. So for macronutrients, if you want to eat whatever your body weight is, maybe in kilos, you want to go for 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. If it's pounds, you want to go for 1 for 1 and make that your primary. And then your carbs and your fats, they're pretty much going to be your energy sources and what you're eating to pretty much nourish your body, which your body needs. It's built around protein, carbs, and fats. So in saying that, to work out what your calories are, if you are trying to lose weight or gain weight, you want to get what your body weight is, kilos. And if it's in kilos, you want to break it down into pounds. So I'm 90 kilos. That'll be 180, 198 pounds, I think, or give or take a bit.
Yeah, about
what
that,
what you'd want to do is take 198 pounds in my case. If you're active, times that by 12. That'll give you the calories where you're at to lose weight. If you're not so active, you're a bit sedentary, you want to do that times 10. That'll give you a number. And then you want to make the protein your key target. And then the carbs and the fats, you can have fun with them. Enjoy yourself. You want to eat a bit more carbs than fats, and fat has a higher calorie count than carbs. So per gram of carbs, you got 4 grams, 4 calories, and per gram of fat, you got 9 calories. So if you cut the fat out in avocado and the nuts and stuff, have a bit. But if you want to halve them, you probably get double your carbs in. That way you can allow yourself to enjoy eating something at night. You want to have your cheat meal, or you want to have a piece of chocolate, you're watching Netflix, you were out and you ate a piece of cake, whatever, you don't have to feel guilty about it. And you have to track. That's another big thing as well. So what we found with a lot of clients who are eating, I don't want to say eating healthy because they were eating healthy, but if you're eating healthy Monday, Tuesday, give a little bit on Wednesday, come through Thursday, have a schnitzel, mashed potato with chips and a mushroom sauce. It's pretty much gone back on Wednesday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
But that's going to transfer into eating something worse. And then when the weekend comes around, I mean, if you're human, you know what the weekend brings. So,
well, for some people.
a lot of us can even enjoy your weekend through lowering what you eat Monday to Thursday, and then on Friday, I've got a lot of clients. I ate a pizza, I had a cheese board with the girls, I had wine and whatnot, and they still lose weight. So it's, as long as you're in that calorie deficit, and you're eating, and as long as you're eating, I want to say a good serving maybe of vegetables along with that. So out of the carbs, proteins, and fats sort of thing, veggies, get some fiber in, help your digestion. I mean, really, if you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose. If you want to maintain maintenance weight, have fun with it, mix and match. But education is going to be the key, because everybody can say you can eat healthy, and we all know these bars that you can buy in the shops that are like protein bars that have 25 grams of fat, and you think to yourself, this has already got 220 calories from fat. then it's got 20 grams of carbs. Say like that's an extra 80. I'm eating a 320, 350 calorie healthy bar that's got 6 grams of protein. It's a little bit counterproductive sort of thing. So if you can get if you can get a majority of your food from natural foods, eat your calories, have a bit of a snack here and there, and once you get a bit more familiar, a bit more comfortable with it, your calorie IQ is up. It's a lot easier to eat out. You could eat out, and you can tell people if you're going to go out somewhere, you're going to eat, and everyone's going to get pizza and beers. Get a burger. You know, a lot of guys are like, I'm going to eat pizza and watch the footy or whatnot. You were like, just get the burger because you're still going to save heaps. Instead of eating pizza, pasta, and the garlic bread, get a burger, eat it on full, still have your beers. A lot of the girls, females, especially on weekends, I want to eat cheese. I'm going to have some wines with the girls. You're like, enjoy it, have it, but just know what you're consuming. The weekend shouldn't be a reason for you to go back on everything you've done Monday. I'm going to celebrate on the weekend by sabotaging everything I've done Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make sense. You'd never do that. You'd never do that in your work life. Like no one would put work in for a deal and then wake up on Saturday. It's a huge deal. I'm not going to send an email. He can go F himself. What?
Yeah. Yeah. People do seem to do things, don't they? And you just end up, you like, the curve starts to go up and you start doing well, and then you just go back to the start of it and you go around in a loop all the time. I found for me what you said there about keeping a record of what you're eating. I'm big on that because it makes me a lot more aware of what I'm putting in my body. And then if I'm weighing the food out, you know, I've got a list of what I've got in the fridge, in the cupboards. I know per 100 grams of everything, the protein, the carbs. I know how much I should be taking in per day. And by doing that, I become more aware of what I'm putting in my body. So I'm like, each thing's recorded, and then I hold myself a bit more accountable of it. And then, as you said, your calorie IQ then gets better, and then you can get better at looking at food and going, yeah, that's 100 grams of chicken. I know in my head that there's about 30 grams of protein in that, and really not many carbs at all. So it's about right. Yeah, I think it's like you said there. It's really important to write that down, and I always have like a specific, nice little notepad for it, and that's all it was. Nothing else in there.
Yeah, for sure. I like that system you got there, actually knowing what's in 100 grams and whatnot. Once you do it once, if it's something that you eat, that's a very common meal. So a lot of people, they're going to eat the same thing a lot on weekdays. It's not a big deal. Like no one's got a big drama with eating chicken, rice, veggies, and I'm going to go down the street and get a sandwich or whatever, and knowing what's in it, sort of thing. So even in saying that, if you know, we get a lot of people to use like Calorie King or MyFitnessPal, which are calorie counting apps. And you can just save your meal, and as soon as you see it, it's with you straight away. Because if you don't know better, you can't do better. Yeah. But if you know, it stays with you. Especially when you say, "I got this banana bread. Wow, 680 calories," and then you tell them that's before you put the butter. That's before you put butter in it. That's before you got the cappuccino that had 2 sugars. So you're sitting on 900 calories. It's not a good start.
No, some of them apps are brilliant. Yeah, sorry to go across you, mate. Some of them apps are great. You can just literally scan the barcode of almost anything in any shop, and it tells you exactly what's in it. Like more than it even does on the back of the packet. And some of the things I've done that with, and I've gone, oh, I'll put that back on the shelf. I don't need that.
Yeah, well, it's an eye opener. If you don't know better and you're unaware of it, and then once that lets you know calories. If you cut that out, or even if you don't want to cut that out, you still want to eat some, at least you know what's in it, so you can cut the portion down, still feel better, help yourself. If you always feel bloated, people say, I always feel bloated after dinner because I had such a big meal, and it was pasta and it was bread, chicken and whatnot. But you tell them, you know, if you had half of that, you'd feel better. Your body will thank you for it. And a lot of people that I work with personally who do have some issues, if you want to call them, gut issues, or I'm bloated, my digestion's not very good, or when I at random times I don't feel hungry for 7 hours, you can tell people to keep a food blog. So just to write down what you consume, and when you're writing it down, it's a lot more powerful than doing it through Calorie King, obviously, because it's going to be a lot more. It's going to be a lot more at the forefront of your mind, and you can pretty much track if you're feeling. Sometimes I feel lethargic on Tuesdays, and every Tuesday the girls would go, and eat at a place near my work. She goes, I never feel good when I leave there. A couple of hours later, I'm always bloated. I said, keep a food log, and then write an hour after, half an hour to an hour after you've consumed your food, how you feel. I'm a bit lethargic, I'm a bit bloated, I'm a bit energized, I'm feeling up, I'm really on, whatnot. And that way you'll know what's even good for you past calories. Like what's really effective for you nutrition-wise and what's really empowering you through food. So you can build a better relationship with food. Yeah. And that way, not only your calorie IQ is up, but how you're feeling and your IQ of yourself, how your gut health is operating, sort of thing. So
yeah, for real. I do like the value in all diaries that you keep. Like it's nice to look back at it 2-3 months, later and go, okay, this is what I was eating then, and this is the result I was getting. It's just a nice thing to look back on. Not like ones that I've got from years ago, and I like look at and I think, well, man, what was I eating then, and the results I was getting. It's really, really interesting to see, particularly if you're starting new plans or if you've got new goals or if you're doing like you're losing. You want to start losing fat again, which a lot of people do this around this time of year. And you might look at your diet you had from a year ago, and you know what worked then, and it's your body, so it's going to work for you. The same stuff's going to work for you again. Everyone's a little bit different in that. Let's
the losing weight thing this time of year. I mean, if you talk to somebody who's our age or older than us, like more wiser than us, they've done it 6, 8, 10, 15, 20 times. People, the default resolution, I like to call it, is to get healthy, to get into shape, or to lose weight. And the habits never change. Everyone thinks it's going to wake up on January the 1st. You know what calories? They're my friend now. I know everything. I'm like, you've done nothing different from yesterday, and you were blind. And this year it fell on a Friday. New Year's Day was on a Friday. I'll start on Monday. I'm like, already? You're not even going to start on Saturday. You're going to start on Monday already. Yeah. Now there's another 52 reasons for you to start. The next 52 Mondays are going to be your best friend now. Oh, you know what? I'm still on holidays, so I'll do it next Monday. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't have to savage yourself in that week. All right, if you're eating decent, it's more of you're showing yourself respect. You know what I mean? You're holding yourself to a higher standard by eating decent food to help yourself. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy eating a burger. I enjoy pizza. Pizza is one of my favorite foods. But I say to myself, if I'm going to eat every single day when I leave work, I'll walk past probably one of the best pizza shops in Sydney. And it's instantaneous when I walk out of the door. Should I order one? So when I get to my car, it's ready. Should I order one? I'm like, I don't want to live like that. No. I got food in the fridge. I've made it from yesterday. There's a salmon waiting for me to cook it. I already know. I'm going to do what's right. The more I do this, the more habitual it's going to become. Yeah. And cutting stuff out of your environment. If you're at home and your pantry's got dairy milk, Arnott's, ice cream in the freezer, and you're watching Netflix and you want to lose weight, you need to scrap that shit. That's it. You need to get that out of the environment. Yeah. That's it. You need to find a better option.
Yeah.
Or it has to go.
The reality is, if it's not in the house, if it's not in the cupboards, then that's at least an extra step that you have to go out. And I mean, the phones don't make it easy because you can literally order anything from any shop now, which, but I just was like, right, let's go through the cupboard, let's clear everything out for this new plan I've started. And if it's not in the house, then at least I know there's a reason I've taken it out of the house, and I've got to go to that step of buying it again, and in my mind, actually wasting the money on it, because I mean, I don't want to put it in my body. I know it's not going to make me feel good. So I'm not demonizing it, but I'm just like, I just know if it's there, and if I'm feeling weak, which we're humans, we get weak sometimes, I'm more likely to go for it. So if it's not there,
100%. And I deleted my home delivery apps. I deleted Uber Eats and stuff. I'm like, this gone too far, man. Like honestly, I live across the road from a Coles to start with. So all I literally need to do is walk downstairs, open till midnight every night. I just got to go down, walk out my door, 70 meters to my right, I'm at Coles. There's a fish shop there. There's a butcher there. There's one of the best fruit markets in the center. And I'm like, what am I going to order? Shit. They're going to bring me rubbish. It's going to take 15 minutes to get here. And the only thing I'm going to order that's good is charcoal chicken. That's my default food. Like, they're going to get chicken, potato salad, rice, whatever they've got available. And I think to myself, you know what? I'll feel heaps better. And I'll know. I'll make sure that I know how I feel after I eat certain foods and how I feel about myself after I eat a salmon. I came home, I cooked the salmon, I had a salad, and then I was like, you know what? I feel good about myself, not just food-wise, nutrition-wise, about me, the decisions I made, knowing I walked past my favorite pizza shop. Wow, this shit's getting serious. You know what I mean?
Discipline, right? Discipline. If you form discipline in one area, then it starts to spill over into other areas. So you just going home, skipping the pizza shop, and then you going home, you've deleted the app, and you're not thinking, oh, I'm not going to click up there. And then next thing you know, that discipline works on something else, and it's just a skill, a attribute, and then you can apply it to anything. We've got Angela Bennett here is on the side. I'll pop this up on the screen. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Ain't that the truth? And nothing more applies to than food preparation. It is like
that probably applies more to food and nutrition, because that's probably what you do every single day, numerous times. You know you're going to eat something. So even snack-wise, if you got around the house healthy snacks and just munch on them, even if you're eating them non-stop, carrots, celery, good stuff, low-calorie biscuits and stuff like that, not only is it going to be better for you, you know, next time it comes to make a bad decision, or when you've got the option to make A, B, or C, you'll be like, I've been putting in so much work. I think Vince Lombardi said one of the best ones, the harder you work, the harder it is to surrender. So if you're working really hard, you're not going to come in, you'll be like, you know what, George killed me on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And one of my clients actually told me, she said to me, she's like, George, I couldn't even think about eating the ice cream because I'm going to die 3 times this week. So I put the hot water on the ice cream and I was like, you are peaking. I'm like, watch some video of her not burning the ice cream, but melting the ice cream with hot water. And she's like, this is the end of Ben and Jerry's in my freezer. And I was like, wow, this is huge, because she used to be a bit larger as well. She lost 17 kilos. And then she was like, she's like, my back pain has subsided. My foot feels better. She had a couple of injuries as well, but the weight came off, and it was more of my whole body is liberated. My mind feels free, and I feel so much more empowered. She was like, I didn't even want it. I just thought to myself, when I was on the assault bike, all those sprints that we've done, I had it on 10 seconds on, 50 seconds off on the assault bike. Man, the name is very appropriate. It's a brutal bike. It's assault. It's bad.
Yeah,
it's bad. And she done that. And she goes, I told her, I'm like, you haven't even burnt off a fun-sized chocolate yet. Like a Cadbury's favorite chocolate.
Yeah.
So the next sprint will get you past the Cadbury's chocolate. And then she done it, and I put up a photo on my phone. I'm like, you ate 3 of these chocolates. You just burnt 3 of these chocolates.
Right.
3 of these little chocolates that you could eat 50 of in a sitting. 3 of these, you know, like, was it worth it? And she's like, George, I'm in agony. She couldn't talk. This after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and she got a breath back. She's like, that's the most brutal machine I've ever used. And I said, next week we're gonna use the ski erg. It's like the upright rower.
Yeah, I know the machine.
Next week, I was like, next week we're gonna use that. There's levels. It gets worse. And then we're gonna do the assault bike with the ski erg, with the assault bike, with the ski erg. It's just like, you've gone mad. And I'm like, the world's gone mad.
Just embrace it. Yeah.
That's it.
For sure.
But it definitely makes you heaps more aware with the harder you work sort of thing. Because if you are eating very well, and when I say very well, a lot of people are under eating, thinking that they're eating, if I eat 900 calories, what will happen is I'll drop dramatic amounts of fat. That's not how it works, because your body goes into survival mode. So your body, part of your body knows, for the sake of survival and to have energy, I'm not getting much coming in, so I can't really burn what's internally stored. I got to maximize and hold on to this as long as I can. And you could do all the exercises, you could do all the water cleansing you want and everything else. At the end of the day, your body knows exactly what it has to do. There's no hack. There's no bullshit way around this. I'm going to shock my body. I'm like, shock your body in the gym maybe, but you're not going to shock millions of years of evolution.
No, evolution. People don't understand that a lot. And this hasn't been that long. We're talking like 200, 300, 350 years ago. Okay, maybe a little bit longer than that, 400 years ago. People used to hunt and gather as tribes, and they'd find a source of food, and that'd be them. They'd have food for maybe 2 or 3 days, and then they might go that same amount of days, if not longer, without food. It's only like the past 200-300 years that we've had food on demand whenever we want, and wherever we want as well. You just get it from a device in your hand, and that the body will store that fat. It stores that fat and uses it as energy because it knows that it thinks that there's going to be a gap in time. You know, so like you say, that's millions of years of evolution, and you can't underrate and think you're gonna lose fat. It doesn't work like that.
No, you can't. Just to elaborate a little bit on that as well, based on what you just said a couple of 100 years ago, your mind knew it might be a while. It might be a while before I've got food. So, like the reptile part of your brain automatically wants the high calorie stuff because calories are energy, and that's how it's going to survive. How much calories can I consume? If I can have this chocolate or this bar and it's got 500 calories, part of you is going to be like, go for the 500 calories. That's all it knows. It doesn't know that it's got 8, 10, 15 chemicals. It's bad for your digestion and it's going to make you feel like shit. It just wants, how many calories can I get? Get it right now, because your brain wants to preserve energy. And by default, especially with all the options that we have available to us now in Australia and the Western world sort of thing, the shit's gone mad. There's endless options. That's why a lot of us are where we are. This is healthy. This is not healthy. 6 months later, this came out in a study. This is on the news. This was a lie. This was a scam. And you're like, I'm so overwhelmed. And
it can be overwhelming. That's why it's important to pick your source, you know, pick a trainer, pick someone you trust in, and just go with them, go with what they say. Like, don't take all this outside stuff all the time because it just becomes overwhelming. You lose your way with it, and then you become dissuaded with the whole thing, and then you just give up because you're just too confused. But look, let's the next one, George. Sorry to cut across your road, but I want to keep it moving because I know we've got a lot of cool subjects here. The next one I want to talk about, and this is something that I have really tried to get a hold of this time, because whenever I've jumped into plans before, the work side's not been a problem for me. I've always been a hard worker. I can apply that in the gym. I can go late night, I can go early morning, whenever it needs to be done. I can fit it into my sometimes very busy schedule. And the food, I can eat plain, I can eat clean, I can eat boring stuff. I can do it for weeks on end. It doesn't bother me because I'm eating for performance. I'm eating for results. I'm eating just for fuel, and that's the mindset I have. But one of the parts I found difficult was getting the recovery right, making sure I get adequate sleep and winding down and keeping them cortisol levels down, keeping them stress levels down. So I know you wanted to talk about prepping for a good night's sleep and getting that rest and recovery.
Yeah, well, I think the way to sum it up is probably play hard and recover harder. Because you want to stress yourself out, sort of thing. You want to tear your muscles up in the gym, and you want to accomplish as much as you can in a day, whether it's at work, emails, relationship, community, family, training wise. The food will play a major role in that recovery. But with the sleep itself, a lot of people say, I can get to sleep, but I wake up 3 times through the night. Or I can't get to sleep, but when I do, hours later, I'm sort of in a good place. But the best way probably to regulate that for a lot of people is probably the most simple way. So a lot of people looking at screens, it's probably endless ranting. Everyone's probably heard this recently. The screens are killing us and whatnot. I love the screen and I hate the screen. I'm guilty on both sides. All right, so the simplest thing I can say to people, and this is pretty much as broad as it gets and as easy as it gets, if you can, limit your time on the phone. Mostly after it gets late. When the sun goes down and it's dark outside, if your brightness on your TV can be down a bit, if you're watching TV on your computer, put the brightness down on the screen. But I've been doing a lot of studying recently that says what happens through the phone and external light, wherever it's coming from, your brain's taking in signals. Light is always just a signal. And the more colors there are, the more excited you are. You're on Instagram, there's lights coming on, you're in a conversation on WhatsApp, you're actually happy to be there, you're getting a little bit of hits of dopamine here and there, you're feeling good, sort of thing. That's like, even if you don't feel yourself getting up, for your mind, it's getting mixed signals. I should be chilled out, because what happens when you wake up in the morning, you wake up, generally cortisol is being released in your body as a way to wake up. So that's your stress hormone.
Right.
And when you wake up, it's sort of telling your body, all right, the sun's up. I generally wake up at about 5:30, 6 o'clock, if that's what time you wake up. And your body gets a signal. I've woken up here, cortisol's come out. And throughout the day, your body, as it gets darker, it'll start releasing melatonin and the cortisol will drop. So ideally, you want your cortisol to be up here through the day and then start dropping. And then you have melatonin start taking over, which is going to help you get to sleep and have a good night's sleep. Mm-hmm. And generally, your circadian rhythm dictates that. So what time you wake up, how much light exposure you get in the morning to really set that part of your brain to know this is when I'm waking up, this is when I sleep. So throughout the day, the levels can fluctuate accordingly when it comes to sleep. And the greatest inhibitor, or one of, in my opinion, for the way that we live now, is 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, when your mind is like, your body's getting all the signals that I should be getting ready for a deep sleep or in a sleep and getting ready to go deep. I'm on the phone, it's getting mixed signals. It's just the brain, the body's not going to really go into where it needs to maximize that recovery. And then what you'll find is a lot of people, when they wake up after that, they're still a bit lethargic for a while. I need a coffee. I need a caffeine ASAP. I don't feel good. It takes me a few hours to get up, even after I had my coffee. That's a sign of poor sleep. So the best way to regulate that, try if you can to wake up at a consistent time or around about in the morning. One of the things is probably get sunlight. If you can, don't look directly at the sun, but just to set that tone so your mind knows. So you set, it's like computer programming. Your brain's the greatest computer. It needs some programming. And it's always working. It's always assessing. So if you wake up, get some sun, that's sending signals. All right, I'm just getting some light. It might be 5 or 10 minutes. Your mind will know. This is the good kind of light that I need. I'm really on. As the night goes on, your body will start relaxing. Try to keep, if you can, through your plan. If you know you're going to get a better 11, I'm going to read a book at 10. I'm going to try to relax a little bit. Or maybe I'll have a shower or a bath at 10. Candlelight is okay. It doesn't really affect you much. Put some candles on, put some scents, read a book, try to chill out. Do some breathing exercises. Headspace is a good app. There's a lot of apps.
Right.
A lot of apps. There's a lot of studies out there, like even just deep breathing, trying to calm yourself down. I'd say to the point of a lot of clients of mine, even when they have a shower, for the last 30 seconds or a minute, to crank just the cold water, because that cools your body down a little bit, so that helps you sleep. And it's actually, you want to sleep in a bit more of a colder environment than warm. I know it sounds a bit of a contradiction to what we're used to, because we want to be nice and warm in bed, but the body will sleep best at like a cooler temperature. Yeah. So I tell people, when you have a shower, after I put the kids to bed or I get home at 9, I have a shower at 10. So maybe just 30 seconds to a minute of cold water, breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, being in control, or breathing in through your nose, holding your breath for a couple of seconds and breathing out, just to really get that physiology working for you. And as soon as that cold water goes off, it drops your stress levels. So as soon as the cold water comes on, your body's like, this is really cold, I gotta fight it. You control yourself with the breathing, and it deregulates your stress. So as soon as the water's finished, as soon as the cold water's over and the threat's over, you're feeling really good. You're like, it's over, I'm calm. Wipe yourself down. You're already a bit chilled. You've done some breathing exercises. No TV, read a book, prep for the day tomorrow, plan ahead. Maybe get lost in your head, in your imagination, not your mind. And don't think so much about how I failed today and yesterday and last week, and I'm living off memory. And that way, you'll regulate those systems in your mind, and your sleep will get better. And I'm not going to go too deep into sleep, but sleep is pretty much like the epicenter of how you're going to perform the next day. Because we all know, if you've got one good night's sleep, you wake up, I'm feeling good, shit, I'm on. I'm feeling mad. You're talking to people, you're walking fast, you're on, I'm going to do ABC before I even get to work. And other days you wake up, you're like, feel like shit, I'm lazy. I got a bit of a headache actually, because I had a coffee at 6 o'clock at night. I know I shouldn't have had that. And then I was on the phone at 11:30 and I was playing whatever games, 12 o'clock, and you're like, it's it's getting out of control. You're getting too much mixed signals from the body. So,
what do you think about like eating before sleep? What would you say is like? Would you say like there's a certain cut-off time to have your last meal before you get to sleep?
ideally, I'd say I tell most people have about 90 minutes if you can, hour to 90 minutes of just clear. Have some water, just let your body digest, because that way it doesn't have to do as much. And generally an hour, but I mean, if someone says, oh, I go to bed at 12 o'clock, you really shouldn't even be eating at 11. There's nothing really counterproductive to it. If you've undereaten, you got home late, one day here and there, 2 days, it's not going to be bad. But if you're in a routine of sometimes I wake up at 6:30 and I have a big breakfast at 7, and that night I'm eating whatever I get home, 10:40, and I went to bed at 11 o'clock, it's probably not ideal for your body. Plus, there's a lot of studies that I've read recently as well that say the best for food consumption would be to have a routine. So if you eat your meals maybe from a set time, so from like 9 a.m. to 8 or 9 p.m., and if you get everything in there, it's probably going to be healthier for you. Plus, at least that way, you know what, I got to get a meal in. Because if you're freestyling everything, you're never really going to hit everything you're trying to get to freestyling. So if you have some sort of routine of, I'll wake up, I'm not going to eat for the first 2 or 3 hours. A lot of people think they need to eat breakfast, I need to have something. That's 1990 shit. I've moved on from that. That's history. You can wake up and not eat for the next 5 hours if you don't want to. Even if you're hungry and you're like, I can hold off, it's no big drama. People sit there, I'm going to lose my muscle. This is counterproductive for my cause, whatever that cause is. And 9 times out of 10, they haven't even got a cause.
Yeah.
It's like, I need to eat something ASAP. Oh, I'm going to lose. You're not going to lose anything. Just listen to your body, but in an educated way. So a lot of people on this intuitive eating sort of thing, listen to your body. If you're a bit full, you normally eat at 8, but you don't want to, wait till 10. There's no big drama. But if you can fit your meals for 12 hour or 10-hour window, that'll probably be optimal.
I think that's one of the biggest ones, and it's something I've really only tuned into when I got into my 30s, really, which was intuition, and like listen to what is my body telling me. When you get that intuition, when your body's like, hey, look, you might be hungry, but you don't actually need to eat right now. Are you eating because you're pissed off? Are you eating because you're upset? Are you eating for like emotional reasons, not because you're actually hungry and you need fuel? And just like dialing into that intuition a bit more and listening to it instead of just, I was going to ask you to turn the lights on. Go down here in Australia, folks. Look a lot better. You can see in your full beauty now, George. But yeah, just like everyone's body's different, right? So you've got to listen to what your body needs, and it needs different things at different times, and not ignore it, because if you ignore it, then you're starving it in some kind of way, and it's gonna bite you back, I think, at some point later down the line.
Yeah, I want to call it, but on that intuitive side of things, it has to be an educated intuition. Like, you have to know what you're feeling and sort of where you're headed, because a lot of the listen to your body people that are out there now and just eat how you feel, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to go for probably the most counterproductive food for my cause. And if you said that to a drug addict, listen to your body. They're going to be doing cocaine and heroin left, right, and center. They're drug addicts.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? If you told an alcoholic, listen to your heart and go with your heart. They're going to be blind 24 hours, 7 days a week. They're alcoholics. It's the same thing for how we're set. If in our habits we're eating, overeating in the morning of the sweets, and you always got a sweet tooth, it's going to be hard to set the new tone. But the same thing like giving up something, giving up smoking. One of my mates gave up smoking, and he's done it, I think, since 4.5 months ago. Even now, the guy, he can't be around the beer at a pub anywhere. He can't think about
association.
Yeah, you can't be in the backyard. I can't be on the porch because I know what's going to happen. My mind is, when you sit there, this happens. When you sit on the deck, this generally happens at this time. So it's like I just go for a walk. But I'm always thinking, well, that'll be beautiful right now to crank one. I'm like, you've been doing it. You're 17 years in the hole. It's going to take some pain. It's going to take some misery to get out of the hole, man. Especially for something that's proven to be addictive to you, sort of thing. So listen to your body, but more than that, know your body. Really get to know it. You know what I mean?
Really get to know it, fall in love with it, fall in love with your body and your mind. And then once I'm big on this, man. Once you truly know who you are and what you need and give that to yourself and fall in love with yourself, then that's only the time that you can ask love of someone else, and then that leads to really good, healthy relationships. If you're not completely knowing who you are and in love with yourself, to expect someone else to be able to give that to you, and you really can't give that out to anyone else in full capacity. But that's a whole other story for a whole other podcast. Let's move on.
It's 100% with what you said. They're really right on that. 100%, because if you do think about it, from overall, all your body is trying to do all day, every day, ever since you came into the earth, is to keep you at optimal performance. Every single thing about it is just fighting for you to be in an optimal state. How can I do absolutely everything with what I've got? And the more you sort of restrict good, the harder it is for your body to do that. So why not just nourish it and do everything you can, as much as you can. When it's time to cut loose a little bit. If you enjoy it, it's probably worth it. But that level of respect for yourself ultimately will transfer into the next podcast that you just spoke about, the self-love cast.
Yeah, that sounds like a good episode, man.
Just some takeaways on the sleep side of things. Yeah. So try to minimize your downtime. Try to do something that you enjoy late in the evening if you can. Read, write, whatever your hobbies are, sort of thing. Listen to some calming music or have some calming music playing. Scented candles are a good one. A lot of people I know, they're just I cranked the lavender candle. The light was dark, sort of thing. And a cold shower. Oh, there you go. You're ready to go. Yeah, and then try to have a little bit of a dark environment as well, so your body knows it's getting those signals even more so. So the natural light from the day and the darkness at night, so you get a little bit more into that sleep zone. So that when you do get into bed, you fall asleep a bit easier and you're in a better sleep. That'll be the takeaway. That's probably the simplest things they can do.
Big on that one, and there's devices you can get for your computer now. There's an app that's actually installed into the back end of most phones now. You don't even need to install anything. That turns the blue light down and just has the red light on, and it does it automatically with sunset and sunrise. I even see some people that they look crazy when they wear them, but they have the red shades on, so they can't get any blue light in late at night. Looks a bit extreme, but they're probably sleeping better than 99% of people out there. So it goes back to that old narrative, do what others aren't, so you'll get results like others can't. And that, if you're going to go to those, some people might say extreme levels, you are going to get better, extremely better results, I think.
Yeah, but even what's extreme, it becomes normal down the track. Once upon a time, us doing this was extreme. These guys are talking to each other, looking at each other on a phone. Once upon a time, someone would have said, I'm going to take this plane for a wrap. And you're like, what do you mean? Fly? You're going to fly the plane? I'm going off the cliff there later. Shit's extreme, man. It's an extreme world, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But I just listened to a podcast today, actually. It's funny you said that, because he was pretty much just talking about your eyes, your retina, and how it processes blue light, natural screens, and the red light at night and stuff. It was a bit over my head, because he's a PhD neuroscientist, specializes in eyes. So I'm going to have to go back into that a few more times.
It sounds good, man.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It's actually, it's Andrew Haberman. So he started a podcast. He's a neurobiologist, neuroscience, head of neurobiology at Stanford University.
Okay.
And he's just the most sort of PhD, but anyone listening can understand. If you're 15, you understand this. If you're 80, you're going to understand what this guy's talking about. It's just so simplified and so easy to understand. And the common sense factor of it is maybe 150%. Because you think about it when he's talking and he gives you explanations, and you pretty much put it to your life experience, and you can do it right now. Think about today and your energy and your sleep. And then this happens through your eyes, and how it processes different colors, and your eyes don't actually see anything. It just sees 4 or 5 different kinds of lines, and then your brain processes those lines. And I was just like, Hey, man.
Crazy.
It's unbelievable.
Hey, look, Angela stayed on the side talking about. I thought it was extreme, but there you go. Look, Angela uses the red lenses.
Yeah.
They are so good for blocking out the blue light, particularly if you get migraines.
Yeah. Actually, I read he was talking about tension, headaches, and eye aches and stuff like that for a lot of people regarding those as well. It's funny she said that because he was talking about how that sort of calms down the blood flow at the back of the eye, and it pretty much calms down the whole brain. I can't say that in detail. I'm not quite there, but
might have to order myself a pair. Actually, I might even do that tonight. Now we've only got about 5 minutes left, George, and I don't want to rush things, man. I actually think we should do a second episode to cover this, some other stuff, because there was some stuff here we didn't get to cover. But perhaps you could jump into one of your favourite things to talk about. And look, I'm happy to run over a little bit past the hour. I think anyone if you just joined this now, please rewind it, because there's so much value in this. If you're into your health and wellness, just getting into it, or you just want to learn a little bit about just some little tips and tricks to improve your overall picture of health, there's some really good value stuff for you here. But movement is medicine. That just sounds interesting to me, and I can kind of guess what it means, George. But I'll hand it over to you there to talk to us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so that's pretty much like my default sort of ethos for a lot of people, especially back when I was working in the city. Anyone that wanted to come in and sort of like, I want to do squats with pull-ups and I want to smash myself and I want to get on my bike. Really, your body was made to move. So back to the old saying, use it or lose it sort of thing. Especially in the world we live in now, a lot of us are rolled forward. We're on our phones, we're on computers, we're holding kids, we're driving, we're sleeping rolled in, we're sitting at a desk for a lot of the time. Instantaneously, your body is pretty much in a position a lot of the day, a lot of the time, it doesn't want to be in. And then a lot of people in the movement patterns they're used to is really suboptimal from like a physical point and a physiological point to help you relieve stress, to sleep better, to actually feel good about moving, getting into the gym. And a lot of things, probably a lot of people, one of the main things I used to tell them was just move. Like, don't worry so much about what's the correct exercise, what's the best program. Like, if you just walk for half an hour with the sun on you, you're doing good, because you normally never walk with the sun. All right, now you're going to pair that with coming here and just getting mobile through the hip opening. You got pain in your lower back, get your mid back working, get your core working a bit more. Next thing you know, I'm feeling heaps more free. Come in there and just move. You don't have to get super, this is the new IT workout. This is the new, get in there. A lot of people rolled forward, their shoulders are in a state of kyphosis. Get a cable row and just lift your chest up. Open your airways. Have a deep breath out. Breathe in through your nose. You know what I mean? Just move. The simplest kind of stuff. And overall, 70 or 80% of injuries that I've come across, people who are injured themselves or lack of movement, lack of mobility, lack of flexibility sort of thing, are pretty much doing counterproductive exercises. So they're trying to load it with more weight. They're trying to do more complex movements when the foundation is not even set. So if you're trying to build a skyscraper on sand, jump into the ocean, man. I don't know what you're doing. You know better. You know, we all know better. So the simplest thing you can do, move. Get your heart rate up a little. You don't have to get your heart rate through the roof. Move a little bit. You got tight chest, you got neck pain. Discover a couple of good exercises, simple stretches, simple mobility activation exercises. Get the foundations nailed. Everything else can be built off it. And whatever that movement is, you can want to go on a weekend, walk on the sand at the beach. You know what I mean? Do things that are good for you. You like nature, go for a hike. You like riding bikes, jump on the bike on the weekend. There's nothing that says you need to go 6 days a week to the gym. If you're at the gym because you know it's a good place to be, but you don't particularly like it, have a dance. Do a dance class. You know what I mean? Just move. That's all you're going to do, because the more you're sitting down, the more sedentary you are, the worse it's going to be for your body. And the more comfortable it's going to get. And then when it's time for you, as you get older, it's going to be a lot harder for you to move. So I tell a lot of people, especially the older corporates, I had one guy, 58, and he's like, I'll just walk on a treadmill because I know it's good for me. I'm like, yeah, but you've got a lot of things going on. What we're going to do is spend the next 2 weeks, and I train them 2 sessions a week for 2 weeks. So all we're going to do is get mobile. We're going to open you up. The first one's going to be me just mobilizing. The second one's going to be me mobilizing, you doing a bit of work. Then next week, we're going to get you to do the routine. See how the foam roller opened his back up, worked his core a bit, opened the hips up a little bit, got his quads open. Next thing you know, 16 kilo kettlebell, squatting, walking lunges, stable on his feet, assisted pull-up machine, cable rows. How you feeling? It's like unbelievable. You know, it's the simplest stuff to help you in general health. It's not even a muscle building sort of, I'm going to go hard at the gym. A lot of people think I'm going to go to the gym. I need to crank myself. I need to be aggressive. I need to make the weirdest face every time I do a rep. I need to make noise. And I can understand how a lot of people are intimidated by that when they come in. There are a lot of fit, strong people who look like they know what they're doing, and you're a bit 50-50. It could be overwhelming a little bit. So that's why I said, look, you reach out. I tell people, I've given people probably in the thousands, maybe, the most simple, basic program. And I've just said, don't even train with me. Just do this. Shoot me a text if you've got questions. And you see them later, and they're like, man, my sciatica's not there. I've done the hamstring flossing thing. My back's unbelievable. My core feels so much stronger. I sleep heaps better. I don't get headaches anymore. People have gotten off blood pressure and type 2 diabetes, stuff like that. And it's all through moving, because your body was designed to move. Like you said, the hunter-gatherers back in the day, they're running, they're chasing, they're getting water. Yeah. Nothing changed. You know what I mean? Yeah, the world changed, but your body needs that. That's how it works better.
Yeah.
And the more you get your heart rate up, you get your blood pressure up, yourself, you're breathing a bit better, your body can work a bit better physiologically, internally. It'll make you hungry. That way, it's got somewhere to put the calories. If you over 8 calories and you moved well, especially for people that are in pain, if you've got back pain, I get headaches all the time, my knees always hurting, stuff like that. If you're continually doing what got you into that state of pain, and you're not addressing the primary cause of it, it's just going to compound and compound. And then over time, your body's just going to say, you know what, send signals and let the body know this is normal. Let the brain know this is normal. I don't want to live with this pain anymore. And then it's pretty much just like a surrender from the body. So you might as well just get in there, move, hold the bottom of this position, have a breath out, rotate, get the spine moving, extend the spine, get the quads on, let the hammies and the glutes do some work. Simple. You're stressed today, no worries. You're going to go for a 20-minute bike ride. The most simple stuff that you can do, keep it super simple. You're at home, everyone's in lockdown, a lot of people can't leave their house. You're like, you know what? Do A, B, C stretch complex. Do some push-ups any which way you can. You can't do them off the floor. Do them on the wall. Just hold yourself up. Let your body just work. Just move. That's all it is. And you'll be surprised. There's a lot of people, I'd say a lot of people, even when they see like chiros, osteopaths, physiotherapists, they get massages all the time. Even them, they're giving like Band-Aids. They're giving Band-Aids. They're not giving them real long-term relief. That's just like, I'm going to give you a massage, release a little bit. But at the end of the day, if you're not working to counter what caused that, it's always going to be around. And plus, you always feel better. You get people to come in, having a bad day, George. No more, just going to move around a little bit, 5 minutes worth of moving, 10 minutes. You can see it on their face. Their energy's up. You just feel better. Even when people are sitting down at their desk, I'm like, breathe through your nose, get your diaphragm working, take some deep breaths. Oh, George, like, I don't think I've got a problem with that. I'm like, it's not a problem. We're just talking about moving better, being better, and getting optimal. Sort of thing. Sit a bit more upright at your desk. Get aware of it. Because once you're aware, all right, once you've been shown and you feel the effects of it, it's hard to go back to being how you were. Because you're going to know there's better for me, there's more for me there. I don't want to sit here. I'll sit here, but I'll lift my chest a bit. I'll take my belly in a bit. I'm feeling heaps better already. My core's a bit stronger. Yeah, that's mad. That leads you to a little bit more. That leads you to a little bit more. then you can start getting your body into like maximizing what movement is in the gym, or sprints, runs, whatever you want it to be. Runs is a pretty big one as well. A lot of people running for health and fat loss and weight loss and cardiovascular health. Pain in the lower back all the time, pain in the hips, pain in the knees, and you're like, there's so much going on. You're not warming up, you're not cooling down, and you're not even complementing those exercises with what they need. Everyone thinks it's just a running game, it's just what my body does, but it's probably one of the most complex exercises you can do. Sprinting and running, stuff like that. It's heavy, heavy duty, heavy impact on your joints, especially for someone who's already in pain. You're just compounding. So it's like a flat nail, and you're just smacking the coffin. You're just smacking the coffin. Your body's just like, I don't want this shit. So move well, move often is probably the main thing I leave my clients with a lot. Get home. You know what? You're having a bad day. Get home. The kids drove you mad. Get on that roller. Open your back up. Breathe. Move with the most simple stuff you can do at home. How you feel? Much better, actually, George. That's a good idea. I'll do that.
Simple thing. It's a simple thing. Listening to you, listening to your body, what it wants, what it needs, getting good advice from professionals like you, accepting the fact that you don't know it all. You know, you're good at what you're good at. You should stay in your lane and get better at that. And the things that you don't know, get advice from other people who that is their lane and what they are good at. And then that's how you excel. You know, you can't be good at everything, but you certainly can learn lots of things. So, yeah, just taking that advice from the right people.
The famous Les call. You don't ask for help because you're weak. You ask for help to stay strong.
That's it. What was it? What was it? Go. What is it now? No, that's exactly what it was. What you said. Yeah. Ask for help not because you're weak, because you want to remain strong. That's the one.
That's it.
We'll wrap it up there, George. We've got a lot of fun here, and I know we've got like there were a couple of things there to be frank and transparent to all the audience. I skipped out on a couple of subjects there just because. You know, we want to. There's so many things to cover. We could talk about this for 3 hours, but people are getting lost in the episode. So I reckon we'll do a part 2 at some point, maybe in the coming weeks or months. Yeah, I'd like to do that. Now I know, George, you spend most of your time on Instagram, so I'm going to drop that in the comments. George Acari on Instagram. And I'm going to get the name right because I got it wrong. It's George, normal spelling, ACCARI. So that's important.
The common thing that people get wrong. I've got unbelievable spelling, ACAAAA. I'm like, man, one day someone's just going to drop it on point. It's like, one day, do you spell it this way? I'm like, this is the one.
I'll get it right.
Yeah, easy done. I'll send you through the some links as well from that. Well, the podcast I was on today, listening to today, and the info from them guys, you can share it on the page as well.
Yeah, fantastic. I'll share it on this.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Thanks for your time, George. I appreciate it. Talking about the gym.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you all. Hope everyone enjoyed it. I'll catch up with you. Easy, Jake.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Stay hungry. Keep hustling.